Margin top one. No, that's not the right one. Sorry. What if we move the header? Yeah, that works. I may come back and put this in a row, fill this space up a little bit more, but for right now, this works. So with the experience care, next update the education. I got to wrap it there. So within the, we can close experience out maybe. I'll keep it open for now. We'll close header out. Go back to the components directory. Inside of the aside folder, we'll add a file named education.tsx. All right, so within this one, we'll go ahead and start by creating an export default function named education. Return statement. This one, inside the return, we'll add a section, and for right now, we'll just name it education. Back to the page.tsx, let's import education. This is going to come from add components portfolio, client aside education. And then underneath experience, we'll add in education. Great, and we see that listed there. Class, direction of the column. No, it's just called, sorry. And what if I gave space on the Y? So within education in this section, last name section, save, works. And I think the next thing I'll add is the heading. We'll give this a class name of heading. This needs to be in curly braces, sorry. We have an experience in the education section. And within this one, we could just keep it the exact same. I'll just go with the header, right? Class name of header. Go Southern, grab the sub. Remember the years I was there, but for right now, I'll just give it something. Go subheading. I'll just add ACHELR. I don't remember the dates for this, but I'll just say, we'll just call it 2012 to 2016, maybe, I guess. Then let's add the description. We may come back and make this modular. Now that I'm looking at it, I could probably just make this one component and just add a title. Just make this, and we'll come back and refactor, but this will work for right now. Description. Or should this all be on one line? Maybe let's go 2012 to 2016. Okay, that works. We'll go batch in business, administration. I don't gotta say that. Business administration. And we'll add one more for the masters. Ashford University. Masters to have to be 2016 to 2018. Masters in, that looks all right. Now we'll always come back and tweak it, but that will work for right now. Sum up. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I think the last section will be a job section inside of portfolio client export default function jobs. Turn a section. We'll just call it jobs. So now let's import jobs into page.tsx. Import jobs, and underneath education, we'll just add jobs. Right. Now within the jobs component, this is going to be very similar to what we already have. And like I said, I'll come back and make this a reusable component so that we're not typing the same thing over and over, because basically it's the same thing. We're just creating separate sections. So I probably could have just made one component with a title, a header, and description, and been done with it. We may do that once we're done, but for right now, let me just finish this out. So within jobs, we'll just add in the section, class name of section. Then we'll need a heading. Make this a H1, class name of heading, jobs. The next will be header. Jobs do I want to list on here? We'll just go, I'll just make something up for right now. I'll come back and add in, I think the rule of thumb is to do within the last 10 years. I'll figure out something. So we'll just go developer. No, this needs to be the company name. We'll call it, we'll name it needs a sub description. It's like this AP. I'll just call myself a teaching assistant. Subheading. And one more P, which will be provided guidance to students and support to this. We'll just go 10 years ago. What's that? 2010. Okay. That's going to conclude the personal information section. This is what it looks like on the desktop view, and this is what it will look like on mobile. I'm I may come back, well, it may have to stay like this, but I may come back and move this to a row and have it wrapped so that there's not so much empty space right here. And the other thing I want to do, actually, I'll go ahead and add some notes. First, we'll do items. Go refactor aside components to one component. It should have a title, header, heading, title, header, heading. They make reusable. Won't be an issue. And then, what was the other thing? Maybe side flex app and mobile view. And we'll go build items. That's how I like to kind of keep up with things as I go. What is it that I want to build that I know I'm going to add to the project that I may not be including right now? What is it that I like to make changes to make my code better and easier for me to read and manage? And if there's some wish list, maybe items, I add it into a maybe or a wish list section. But this is something that I like to do for all projects, even if it's a tutorial, to kind of track of everything that I want to do to make sure I'm organized and I'm not missing anything. And if it's something that I want to teach, make sure I'm going into enough details. Otherwise, just keeping myself on track and making sure I fulfill everything that I said I was going to do. I know I want to add a filter, tags, download, log, section, personal links. We'll save this because I'll come back to it later. So that's going to conclude the aside I wanted to add. Next up, I think what we'll do now is we'll focus on the main portion of the portfolio. So within this section, we're just going to have 4 parts. We'll come outside of the aside. We'll add a section tag. And in the section, I want about. Then we'll have skills, projects. Then the section, we'll give it a padding of 6, space on the Y of 4. On large devices, I want the column to span 10. Set the height to full, and I want to hide any overflow so that it is basically like a piece of paper. We'll set the background color to purple 100. And we see that the column or this section is at the bottom because I have everything in one column on small devices. On large devices, perfect. It is taking up the right portion of the screen, which is exactly what I want. To give it a resume feel where we have the personal information on the left, and on the right we have all of our accomplishments or things we've done. But I do realize that this is not the correct syntax, so let me update that. So with that, shift over to creating the actual components, these sections. First component will be about. We'll go to the components directory, portfolio, client facing, item, and it's going to be in the main section. So we'll add a file named about.tsx, and we'll go export default function about. A return and a section. Now let's import this in the page.tsx. Ouch. And in the about section, we'll just bring in the about component. All right. So the about section is going to be just as it is titled. A simple section that just kind of may or may not be factual, but for right now, we're just going to roll with it. So with this one, we won't need to make any changes to the section, but within the H2, I'll add about as the title. We'll give this a class name of text to Excel.